Hello and welcome to Climbing Daily. Today we're at one of the most beautiful climbing factory locations I've ever seen at Singing Rock in the Czech Republic. So I'm here to meet Jan, who's going to show me around, and there he is waiting. Jan, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Jan, this factory is in a stunning location. Tell me a bit about what we're going to be doing today.
Well, I'm going to show you the factory itself and the production of the sport harness. So you're going to see how it's made from A to Z, how it's from the raw material to the final product.
Awesome, man. Well, I know this is a huge building, so where do we start?
Well, we're going to start at R&D department, on research and development department.
Cool, man. Well, I'm not going to pretend to know where I'm going because it's like a maze, so...
that way.
Okay. Okay, so research and development, what exactly does that mean?
Well, research and development is actually heart of Singing Rock because these guys are developing and thinking about the new products, how the products should be made. When we are talking about the sport harness, usually they think like, as they are also climbers, so they think to produce the best climbing harness that they would wear.
So with climbing harnesses, there's a selection here. Is this steps of a process towards the final product?
Yeah, exactly. They are trying like different fabrics, different webbings, different cut, different materials. So they are trying like different models when it comes, let's say, almost the final one, which then it's tested in the laboratory, which we will see later on. And then it's a final product.
Okay, cool. So what's the next step of this? Where do we go?
Now we can see also the R&D laboratory, which they are using for the development of the products.
Laboratory sounds like machines. That sounds good to me. So coming into this room, we've got a machine in the corner making a pretty cool sounding noise. What does this do?
Well, actually, this is a testing machine for R&D that they are testing the fatigue test on the material, so how the belay loop is worn out, for example.
So this machine over here looks a bit like a robot, presume a 3D printer?
Yeah, there's a 3D printer. The reason why we use the 3D printer is that it speeds up the whole process of the development of the product before we produce it in a metal. For example, this is the buckle of the sport harness. So the guys, they can check the shape of the buckle, sometimes even try the functionality with the webbing. It really speeds up the whole development process.
Okay, so we planned out the harness. You know what it's going to look like. You know the different materials going to be involved in it. Now we need to build it.
Yeah, so let's start the production procedure.
Cool, let's go find some machines, man. Okay, so you've come up with a design, you know what you want your harness to look like, and now it's time to start putting it together.
Yeah, exactly. So now we can see how the harness is made from the total beginning. Now we are in the preparatory department where we have these two special machines cutting the shape of the harness, either the padding or the outer fabric. And once the fabrics it's cut it, then it's put it in a warehouse of the raw material where the workers put all the parts together for the sewing department.
Oh, I see. So this creates the shape, all the material, puts it together, and then there's boxes and boxes and boxes of little bits of harnesses ready to be assembled into a giant sort of transformer-style harness.
Yeah, we don't have a transformer giant here, but we have skilled workers doing that, yeah, by the handmade.
Can we go and see all the little bits in their places?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so in this room there's lots of boxes, presumably storing stuff?
Yeah, that's the warehouse of the raw material. So then they are put all these parts together for the sewing department where then the harness is sewed together.
And for the first time we've seen machines. I can hear the noises going on over here. We've got this big looking
this is a
jobby
press machine pressing the glue and the fabric together, for example. Then we have automatic or semi-automatic cutting machines cutting the webbing.
So the machine over there, is that part of this cutting process?
Yeah, exactly. This is automatic machine cutting, for example, now the webbing for the belay loop. So the webbing is on a coil, put it into the machine, and the machine cuts the webbing automatically on the length which is needed.
And then the ladies over there seem to be organising stuff into different piles, ready for what, the next step in this process?
Yeah, exactly. They're putting all these parts of the raw material together to have prepared for the sewing department, where the ladies are sewing the harness together.
This next stage we go into, that's where we pull everything together, and at the end of that, I get my harness harness that I can wear and go climbing.
Yeah, exactly. You can see now the sewing department where the ladies are sewing the harness together.
All right, cool. Let's go do that. Okay, so in the previous room, we saw all the little bits of the harnesses getting put together, and I presume in this room, we're seeing the assembly process.
Yeah, actually we are in the sewing department where all these parts are sewed together by the sewing machines. And here works about 40 people sewing in the sewing machines in 2 shifts, morning and afternoon shifts. And each person has a different task to put each part of the harness together.
Oh, okay, so they're not responsible for one whole harness. So you start at the end, they'll sew a bit of it, they'll pass it on, and it gradually will be built up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's not one person doing the whole harness together, but preparing each part separately.
It always amazes me coming into a room like this because the amount of concentration that's required. I think I would literally I'd come out with all my fingers sewed together if I had a go at this. So if I ever come for you for a job, just say no.
Yeah, absolutely. We have different kind of machines, sewing machines that are automatic machines for full strength stitching, and the normal sewing machines which you can have at home and sewing your clothes together. They do the same job for the sport harness as well.
We're talking about the sport harness. I can see very familiar looking webbing there that the lady's putting together. What part of the process is she on now?
Yeah, actually this is the process of the webbing which goes around the waist belt, and she's putting the second part of the webbing, which is for the attachment point, and the Velcro strap on the webbing, which is for the size adjustment.
It's hard when you see it like this because there's so many separate bits being done. Have we got an example of one that's 90% done, that's been all put together?
Oh yeah, sure. There is a box of the harnesses which when they go through all the steps for the production here in the sewing department, looks like that. So still doesn't look like in a store, right? But it's finished product which goes through the quality control and packaging, and then it's the final product to be dispatched to the store.
So all that really needs doing is the clips need to be put up, everything needs to be buckled up and put into a box, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, it's been great seeing this building process. I think it's time that we saw the harness in its finished final state. So through there for the quality control?
Yeah, to the quality control. Let's go there.
Okay, so we're coming in from the busy factory into this really quite peaceful, chilled room compared to the noise out there. What actually happens in this place?
Well, in this place, they do a quality control of the harness, or in the other products as well. So they check if the harness has all the parts together in a correct way. They check it, they pack it, and it's ready to go to the warehouse. But also what we do, that we take part of the harnesses to our testing laboratory, and we test the strength of the harness.
This is always my favourite part of any factory tour, is when you get a giant machine to rip something to shreds. So please, can we go and see that?
Yeah, let's go there.
Okay, so this part of the process is almost an extra step. So we've built a harness, it's ready, but you take them down here and you test them to complete destruction to see what they're capable of, right?
Yeah, exactly. We take the harness from the regular production to test if it fulfills still the same standards it should be. So now we can show the full strength of the harness, what the harness is made for.
All right, I feel like if I get in the way of this process, I'm going to break myself. So I'm going to step well back and let you destroy that thing. Okay, so that was cool. How many kilonewtons did it get to before it finally snapped?
Well, it lasted 18 kilonewtons, which the standard is 15 kilonewtons, so it's really over the limit which has to fulfill.
Okay, and 18 kilonewtons is how much-ish in other terms?
It's like almost 2 tons.
Okay, heavy. And where did it break eventually?
Well, actually it broke it in a belay loop. So you can see that it was broken in a stitching of the belay loop. And usually it's not the weakest point. Sometimes it breaks in leg loops. So it depends on on the webbing, on the stitching, and all these factors.
Well, it's good to know that it's rated to such a high level. So that's a broken, destroyed one, and in your hand is the finished product, or one of your finished products.
Yeah, exactly. So there's the broken one, which lasts really strong, and there's the final product which you can find in the store.
Awesome, man. Well, look, it's been really cool seeing it around, because for me, harness is one of those things I buy, I put on, and I tend not to think any more about it. So it's cool to see how much effort and work and time goes into creating that product.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of processes in between before you get it, but yeah, it's the other product, so it's good to wear and good to change when it's worn.
I know there's a whole forest full of Czech towers waiting to be climbed, so let's get out of here and let's go rock climbing, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.